regarding building permits. For over a year, developers at the Villages, Lakeside Estates, and Pine Brook subdivisions have been in a battle with the city to get permission to build on their lots. The city says certain developers aren't following the law, and that's why building permits are being withheld. KTVO's Nick Todorovich explains.
3 of Kirksville's wealthiest subdivisions have had construction come to a halt. Developers, real estate agents, builders, and home buyers say they've all been affected by the city's unwillingness to hand out building permits. The city says they don't want to stop building houses in Kirksville, but they don't want to put anyone above the law.
We do have a small number of developers, and some of their projects have been going on for years or decades, and at this point are several years behind the deadline in finishing some of that required infrastructure that they agreed to make sure was part of that, an agreement with the people of the city of Kirksville. So we've been working to make sure that we can get that infrastructure built out, that those obligations are met, and that we can continue to have homes being put into some of the developed areas in Kirksville.
The main holdup is that the city says some of these neighborhoods are lacking proper infrastructure. Sidewalks and roads are 2 major points of discussion.
We're stopping progress in our community based on sidewalks on a one-way street or on a cul-de-sac street that don't attach to any sidewalks to benefit the community. In 2022, they had a housing needs assessment done for our community. And it was proven in that study and statistically backed that we have a housing shortage. We cannot support the growth that's expected or even the growth that we're currently experiencing.
Larry Hayes has been developing the Pine Brook subdivision. Leah Doty, a real estate agent with Heritage House Realty, is representing Hayes. She says Hayes has lost faith in the city council and staff.
The lots have been stopped because initially when Mr. Hayes approached the city about investing in developing that subdivision, there was a variance that was provided that would allow him to postpone putting sidewalks in until a year after occupancy. At some point in the process, the city made a change to that agreement without knowledge given to Mr. Hayes. That has set everything, I guess, into motion as far as deadlocking those lots.
Subdivision plats that were approved before February 1st, 1999 had 7 years to be completed. Plans that were approved after the February 1st timeline had 5 years to wrap up construction. City staff want the developers to remember this timeline and follow their obligations.
It's a commitment that was made on behalf of the developer to the community. So whenever the Planning and Zoning Commission and the City Council approve that plat, it's with the understanding that that infrastructure will be constructed. If someone tells you they're going to do something, you typically want them to do that thing, whatever the case may be.
Ultimately, we want a pathway for these developments to move forward, for folks to be able to get building permits in those locations, just like they're able to do in other developments around Kirksville. But we need folks to follow the law on that.
In Pine Brook's case, Larry Hayes is currently frustrated with the city council. He accused the city of going back on the original ordinance and changing the wording on him without letting him know. Doty says she believes the city is sacrificing way more than just the relationships with developers.
It's astronomical. Our schools are suffering, our streets, I mean, everything that would benefit from the tax revenue of these new builds. What they're losing out on is not only the revenue that's generated from the taxes, from the property taxes of these properties, but also from the sales tax on the materials that are used to build the project.
Doty also shared information from the 2022 Housing Needs Assessment, which suggests Kirksville needs to build more houses to keep up with the increasing population. The city says they don't want to stop any further construction. They just want to hold all developers to the same legal and ethical standards.
The city of Kirksville is not a barrier to that. We would love to see homes popping up in every single one of the planned subdivision that's out there. But again, there's a lot of people who play a role in that, and making sure that that moves forward is the responsibility of all of us.
The city, council, and Doty all told me that the best way forward will have to involve communication from all parties. It's unknown when this issue will be resolved, but sources tell KTVO News that this issue will be brought forward to the City Council once again. Reporting from Kirksville, Nick Todorovich, KTVO News.
We will continue to have updates as conversations between the city and developers continue.